My name is Bill Masuku. I am a comic book artist from Zimbabwe. I'm 26 years old. I created Captain South Africa and Razor Man, a couple of other titles that aren't so big, but I am getting there.
What was the moment where you knew that this is what you wanted to do?
I actually stumbled upon this really, really young. I think I was in grade 4 or grade 5, and I just started making comics. I'd seen it in popular media, and because of the way the market is set up in Zim, I had never seen a comic until midway through high school. So my experience was that I was always wanting to do this well before I was actually immersed in the medium. So I was always drawing, always writing stories, and I knew at some point I would do this professionally.
Who would you say were your biggest influences when you started out?
Back then, before the advent of the internet and instant information, I could only go by titles. So definitely 90s X-Men, that animated Spider-Man TV series, anime from the early 2000s were all big cornerstones in my creativity. They all had this serious flair about them. I was watching them in tandem with watching Western cartoons at the time. Things like Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel. They were great, but they didn't stand on continuity. There wasn't a longevity to the storytelling. I knew Samurai X wasn't a cartoon. I didn't know what anime was at the time, but when I watched the first episode, there was violence, there was drama, there was a depth to the characters that I had just never seen in my life. It was a drama, but with more emotion, with more evocation. And then the next episode carried on from the previous, something I hadn't seen in a long time. So yeah, I really appreciate the early 2000s anime and late 90s cartoons.
What's been your biggest obstacle and how did you overcome it?
Some of my biggest obstacles back home in Zim are that power cuts. Power cuts can last up to 18 hours for days and on end. And the way that I overcame one of these problems is that I draw really fast. So daylight hours are really where it's at. And yeah, going from straight pencils to inking and skipping a lot of creative steps really sped up my process, but also just gave me this sense of urgency, which it turned out was solving another problem that I wasn't really aware of. Most local comic book artists put out books very slowly because of the developmental time. It takes so long. So when I went to my second event, I was putting out my second book, something no one had seen before, which was wild for me because I thought, you guys have been doing this for years. I thought frequency was a thing, and I was discovering that when you don't have pressure to be constantly creating, you can just lean back and wait for an event. And because I want this to be my career, I just fell into the habit of constantly putting out either pages, books, concept art. And so I guess I appreciate the power cuts as a setback. I guess a setback is just a preparation for a comeback. So,
have you got any advice for upstart or aspiring artists?
I think I can sum up a very long TED talk into go for completion rather than perfection. You will learn to get better over time. If you are trying to have perfect lines, perfect colors, all in your issue 1, you will never get out that issue 1. What you need to do is finish it, get it out, get crit, improve on that crit, improve on your own self-reflection, and continue to get better over time. And you will see growth much faster than if you do it alone at home by yourself.